That's right. It's Bad Weather Fans, episode 24 with Mike and Alex. Thank you to all of our listeners. Thank you to all of our viewers here on YouTube. Don't forget, you can find this podcast on theprosclub.com. A lot of other great content on the Pros Club. If you're interested in basketball, check out Real Talk Basketball with Rex Walters, Mike Delivers podcast, and, of course, Outside the Box. But this is Bad Weather Fans, and we've got a lot to talk about this week, Alex. The lottery happened. The playoffs happened. And away we go. How are you doing this morning, man? Early morning recording.
Yeah, I'm doing well. 7:22 a.m. on a Saturday here on Long Island, New York, where I'm at right now. And, we had some things we have to do today, so we have to do this a little early, but I'm looking forward to the show. We had a lot of things go on this week that we need to go over, my team, your team, everybody's team.
Yeah.
That is semi-relevant, I guess. I guess the Knicks are the most relevant team in the world since they come up in every conversation. So I don't understand, but teach their own. I don't understand. I understand because, if you say the Knicks, you get attention. So that's just what it is. When we say the word Knicks for clicks, that's what happens. You say the Knicks and you get clicks. It's what it is. It's a scientific fact now, and it cannot be disproven. Is that a word? I don't know if disproven is a word, but I just made it up and you get it and you're upset.
I'll give it to you. You can have that. I was so anxious for the lottery. I hate the lottery. I don't want the Knicks to have any fun, none at all. So I was thrilled when they didn't. Not only did they not win the lottery, but they went back 2 spots. And I told you this on text yesterday, so you should be in a good mood. The Nets went back 2 spots with their playoff spot, basically. So I feel your pain, man.
Yeah, no, it's not the same. It's not the same. But I know you're just busting my chops, but no, I went into this lottery. I was just so clear-headed. I'm like, whatever, as the only thing that could piss me off is if we drop. That's the only thing possible that could possibly piss me off. Even if they dropped the 1 slot, I wouldn't have been mad. But you drop from 6 to 8, and you're just like, you come like borderline top 5 to like, you're almost at 10. It's just
right.
It's just like, and I just like, of course, it just makes you think that it's fixed. And I know it's not really fixed, but it makes you feel like it is because it's just absurd. All of these small market teams win the lottery all the damn time. The Warriors are going broke. They built this new arena. They're going to have no fans. I know they have this great team that everybody's coming back from injury, but they're broke. The Minnesota Timberwolves are trying to sell their team. They're broke. And all of a sudden hey, like give them the lottery picks, so it's just same thing happened last year with the Pelicans. They had to trade Anthony Davis. It would have been a dead franchise. I have friends down in New Orleans and Louisiana area, New Orleans area, whatever. And they say nobody gives a shit about the Pelicans. And it's either LSU or the Saints. And that's it. That's all you care about down there. And Zion shows up and now they care about the Pelicans. So it's so hard not to connect these dots. And I know as I spit all over my computer accidentally, but I know that it's not really fixed, but it's just so hard for me not to imagine it. And it just makes me get angry. I get mad about that dude that holds the cards is pissed off, smiling. The Knicks here.
Mark Tatum.
It pisses me off. I want to punch that guy in the face. I don't even know his name.
Email for you.
You have his email?
Yeah, I'll give you his email.
You
can tell him.
Yeah. I'll tell him straight up. I hate you.
Okay. Well, I'm just glad to hear that because you're going on like this thing is fixed, and
just
trust
feels
me,
like
I love a nice conspiracy theory more than anybody. We could do a whole hour on the JFK assassination if you'd want to, Alex. But I can't sit here and say like every year they're making sure the Knicks fall in the lottery. I think that's a far stretch, and you just have to accept it's bad luck. It could just simply be as easy as bad luck. Like your sports teams, they all suck. That's bad luck.
Yeah, but how much bad luck? It's
a lot.
35 years of bad luck. I know they've only been in the lottery maybe 10 times where they had their draft pick.
It's not even that much. It's really not that much. If you did the thousands of these and it never happened, 10 lotteries and you got bad luck.
But I'm not talking about move up a slot. I'm not saying win the lottery. I'm saying move up from 7 to 6 or 6 to 5.
Yeah.
Or 3 to 2. Just move up one. We're either staying still or going down. It's absurd.
I just loved it. Oh, it was it was so good. And you ignored me that night. You turned me off. You didn't even want to see me. I was all engaged. Oh, I was just here's the truth. 1 through 8, we don't know. This draft is going to be so hit or miss. It's not like last year where if you were, those top 2 picks, you were feeling like you had something going. This year, I don't think really people know the difference. And because we haven't really watched any college basketball.
Right.
We literally didn't watch any college basketball. You never see the kids overseas. So we don't know anything. So it's more of just the pride factor of what you actually did. But it's going to be about what the Knicks pick right. If their pick is good. Ultimately, that's what'll matter, and this won't be a big deal years from now. What'll be a deal is if the kid's a good basketball player and he's helping your team win. That's what'll matter. But
Yeah,
that's only time can answer that.
that's the thing. We've talked about this on the podcast before, where this is the weirdest draft where nobody knows because everybody can act like, oh yeah, I watched all these games in November and December of college. You're not watching college basketball in December, unless it's your favorite
Your
team.
school, right?
Your school, yeah. You're not watching you're not. I mean, unless you just have so much time on your hands, which I don't. You're watching football in the fall. You're watching the NBA in the fall. You're watching
on a
baseball.
national level.
Yeah, you're not, and everybody gets into it like with the conference tournaments and then the March Madness or the NIT, and people get into it then, and you bet on all the games, you have a good time, but nobody's paying attention to it, and that's why this draft is so weird. I was looking at a mock yesterday, and I look at it, and I'm looking at one, and I forgot where, maybe it was USA Today, and had this guy Precious something or other. I forgot his name. I apologize, but his first name is Precious. They're like Knicks are slotted to take him at 26 or 27, whatever the pick is at the end of the draft. I'm like, oh, that's cool, whatever, whoever this guy is, maybe it's, who knows. Then I look at another mock, and they say that same guy, they're taking him at 8. So it's just like nobody has any fucking idea with this draft.
Clue.
No clue. Nobody has anything, and or either nobody has any clue, or this draft is complete trash, or it's just an even keel from 1 through 60. It's just who knows. And
it's impossible.
And that's the positive light I can take now. But the night of the lottery, I just didn't want to hear anything. I was just like, fuck. I sent out a few times. I'm like, of course they miss on this. I'm like, of course. Of course they fall. And I was just so angry. And then I just started seeing the trolls, and I started seeing the talking heads that are just like, oh, it's because of Dolan. I'm like, shut up. Like, Dolan's bad, but it's not his fault they're falling in the lottery. Like, give me a break. The Rangers just won the lottery. He owns that team too.
Right.
It's just it's
bad
just
luck.
It's just bad luck. And
it's bad luck. It's just bad
I just didn't
luck.
want to hear it. I didn't want to hear the positive side. I didn't want to hear the negative side. I just wanted to be angry, and I just shut off Twitter, and I didn't even want to watch basketball. I shut the Lakers game off. I watched a little bit of it, and I can't do this today. I was like, let's put on Friends and go to sleep. I'm like, I can't deal with this.
No, I understand you hit a tipping point. You don't want to watch that stuff anymore. But that's why, like I said, I was happy because it was
right.
It was like a sports night, and your team lost the game, and that's how I looked at it. And
like
that's how. I mean, that's why I was in a good mood. I just didn't want to see the Knicks have a night. You know what I mean? Like in the middle of the summer, we don't need that.
Especially when the Nets are almost done, and
I've just gone full accepting of it. Like I want the Knicks to be bad. I've said this before. Like I don't want the Knicks to have success. I don't want to see them have a good night. I want to see them fail. Now, I do think it'd be fun if both teams are good. It probably would make for a good rivalry and for some really good, fun basketball games. If we ever had fans back in the buildings, I think obviously it would be cool. But I don't like this. I don't know. I just don't like to see them have success. I didn't want to see them do well. So it felt good.
No, I know how you feel. I mean, I feel the same way. I'm laughing. It's not the same with the Nets right now because, it's the bubble and Joe Harris is out now and Dinwiddie's not there.
I mean, the teams have shelved themselves.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, yeah. Nobody expects anything. But, the last thing I want them to do is upset the Raptors in the first round. I wouldn't want to see that.
Right, of course.
It took me a while, but I definitely do hate the Nets. I can admit that. You know what I mean? I definitely don't like them. I definitely am not happy with them. So I can deal with that.
Good. So, no, I like that. And that's why I actually feel a little bad about this. And I was telling you this yesterday. I was going at it online with Twitter, and you're at Nick Central. I'm at Mike Delivers Pod, and I'm like joking around with people, and I didn't realize how angry I could make somebody based on me just being stupid. Like if you know me, I don't take myself seriously at all.
Yeah.
I have my sense of humor is kind of dry, and I just don't. I'm not I didn't mean to it legit bothered me. Like somebody blocked me on Twitter when I was just joking back and forth. He called me. He keeps saying I look old, and then he
got you upset, right? You're like, damn, I don't look old.
He called me the T word. I was like,
you're like, honey, do I look old?
I mean, so that's why I'm wearing my hat today because I'm all nervous about my gray hair. He called me the T word. I was like, no one's ever called me that.
Yeah, no, it gets you upset. Yeah, I know the Trump word. I know, but it's
call me that.
Yeah, like what? Like how does that? How does
I don't
that
like
equate?
The Knicks, but we've got come on. So I like that. That bothered me. So I feel bad. I'm not going to do that anymore on Twitter. And you're like, now you embrace it. I think you enjoy the villain role, right? I went the other way. I was like, oh no, I can't do this anymore because this is the one line I'm saying that I think is starting to irritate the Knicks fan. I know more basketball than you. I just go, I've met a lot of Knicks fans, and it's just you guys just
We're
don't
the
know
smartest fans in the world.
Yeah,
okay,
you're the
Mike?
smartest
We're
fans in the
smartest
world, and
fan in the world.
I'm a loser Net fan, and I know more basketball than you. And I think that they're like, oh yeah, really? It's like, so I think that really upsets them because
No, I
it's
mean, that
such
was
a
funny.
passionate, smart fan base.
It was funny because the way that you were talking to them, you responded to somebody like, "Oh yeah, you're a butt," and it was just like, okay, like if somebody can't understand that this person's joking, then that's just on them, man. Like because you can tell when somebody's trolling or they're trying to have a conversation.
Yeah.
You're like, it's getting heated, like an argument on Twitter. I get into those sometimes, but you can tell it's like actual. You're fighting an actual fact.
Right.
When somebody just does that, you're like, okay, you're just trolling. Okay, goodbye.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I just was.
Have a nice day.
But you knew what you're doing too. You're like inciting it. You're so funny too with all of these now because you'll be like, "Here's Mike talking. What an idiot!" Don't forget, download Bad Weather Fans episode 23. Click on it right here. 5-star rating. Leave a comment. Tell Mike how dumb he is, but make sure you give 5 stars.
Right.
You're like the ultimate
subscribe.
You're the ultimate promoter now with the way you do these things. It's more than just like, let me make my jab. It's let me make my point and give me the 5-star rating.
Right.
Which
I'm
I
in the
respect.
marketing department of the Pros Club Network. That's
You
what I
really
am,
are.
It's
great. It's a great job by you.
And it's funny because I'm probably the most hated Knicks fan in the Nets on the Nets Twitter world. If I say something, they come for me. It's just I don't even have to say anything about the Nets, and they come for me. So I'm trying to make you the most hated Nets fan in the Knicks world. That'd
no,
really
I can't.
funny.
I can't do that.
But you're too nice.
I'm too nice. Yeah, I would never last a second. I would never last. I could.
Look at you wearing your hat today because you got upset last night at the guy. No, you look fine. You look good. Hey, man, you look like you're in your mid-20s.
I couldn't hear what you said because I took my headphones off.
I said it looks like you look fine. You look like you're in your mid-20s.
No, I definitely don't look like that. I'm in my mid-20s, which is crazy because there's these photos. It's it was National Radio Day the other day, so people kept putting up photos of what they looked like back in the day.
Oh,
like holy shit, people got older. And like where I worked, it was the first year was 2013, like January 2nd, like really right in the beginning of January. You just look at the people. I'm like, wow, radio does age people. I was like, look at everybody. Everybody looks so young. It's like that was 8 years ago. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's funny. It's you see all these celebrities like, wow, he's so old. I can't believe he died. He's so old. It's just you forget that as you're getting old, they're getting old too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just nobody stops aging.
Nobody stops aging, which is interesting too. Watching these basketball games now that you and I are about the same age, and it's like now I think like I'm watching Al Horford and he looks older and he's moving around. I'm just like, oh. I can't imagine what it's like running around against like 24-year-old Jaylen Brown. I'm like, that sounds like hell. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't need that in my life. So I feel for when guys get older, which is even more respect to LeBron and what he's doing. Even Carmelo, how he's been great. Like they don't look, he's Melo.
Melo lost a lot of weight. He looks good. He lost
but
a lot of
weight. But
he's
moving around. He's fresh. He's running up and down the court.
Well, it took a year off. I mean, he got not 36. Took a year off. He was off for a year.
Yeah,
that helped a lot.
It can't be easy, is what I'm saying. Like running around with some of these guys that are younger, and you got to really take care of your body. So I can't even imagine like LeBron when he's doing these pregame stretches with his shirt off. I'm like, holy shit, look at this man. He is perfect. It's like I can never take my shirt off again after looking at LeBron James. Like this is unbelievable.
It just reminds me from Step Brothers when he goes up to the brother goes up to the treehouse. He's like, look at these abs. You want to touch this shit? I haven't eaten a carb since 2003 or whatever he says. That whole line. To have a body like that, you can't live life normal. Like you have to eat the avocado ice cream like Tom Brady. That you have to like every meal has to be prepped and planned and this and that. It's not you can't live like that as a normal person. Like what are you training for? Like Kevin Hart has a funny line. He's like if you're training at the gym to get big as fuck for no reason, then what are you training for? But if you're working out to do a competition, okay, great. But if you're working out like so much just to work at T-Mobile and you're like, hello, what? Then you got some problems, man. Like, what are you doing? Just relax, live your life.
I know. Well, I do miss the gym a little bit. I haven't gone in 5 months or whatever it is, and I have like some weights in the house, but it's just not the same. Not that I'm working out to be.
Plus, you don't have the normal exercise, the day-to-day exercise. We talked about that too.
Yeah,
just walking around in the world.
No, you go for a run and you try to get some steps in, but if I don't take that run,
it's over.
It's over, and and then it's like you have one Dorito and you put on 2 pounds. It's unbelievable.
Have a
It
sip of
really
a
is. It's
beer and you gain
depressing.
5, and that's it. It's
I
over.
know. It's just ridiculous. Oh, it's awful. I miss that
Yeah,
about being younger, is having a better metabolism. We
yeah, for
somehow
sure.
always get onto this topic, and I don't mean to
I
do that.
know. It's bad. I mean, I've been working out lately. I feel good. I just worked out
Good.
before I got here.
You
Lifting
worked out
weights.
before?
Yeah, I couldn't sleep last night, man. I was up. I was watching the Mavericks game, and I fell asleep in the third quarter. And then I woke up, and I watched the rest of the game, and then I just couldn't sleep. I had
Wow.
some food. I think the food I ate just didn't agree with me, and I was just like a
Okay.
little nauseous. And it's just like I was just, you know what? I went to the couch, and then it was like 5:30, and I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. Let me just do my workout for now
Well,
and
there
take a
you
shower,
go.
and put on my nice shirt for the day that I was gonna wear anyway, and I'm good to go.
What'd you eat?
Last night I had it was like we ordered in food from Italian, but it was balsamic chicken, and I thought it would be
You
like
love your
chicken with
chicken.
little balsamic on it, but it was like it tasted like sesame chicken, but with like balsamic. It was like very thick. It was just like ugh, and like
It was too
I
much.
ate a lot of it because I was starving, but it was just after a while I'm just like this taste in my mouth is just gross, and then I woke
Yeah.
up like a cold sweat at like 3 a.m. and I'm just like ugh, this is terrible.
All right. Well, you got your workout in. I'm glad you
Yeah,
got that done.
feel
That's very
good.
good.
Got my cup of coffee. I'm ready to go.
These Nets in the bubble,
Mhm.
we're recording this. They're down 3-0.
It's over.
It's over. I mean,
Yeah.
but
Joe Harris is gone. It's
Joe
over.
Harris is. It was the last time I ever saw Joe Harris. That would be devastating. The
The next
Nets
time he'll
need.
be a Nick
The
next
Nets
year.
really
Next year.
need to re-sign Joe Harris. They really need to get this guy.
Oh man,
He
yeah.
is. He's
I
really
think
developed.
your anger of will be equal to my lottery anger if Joe Harris signs with the Knicks.
I might be a Knick fan. I mean, I might
Don't
bail.
get crazy here. Don't get crazy.
No, I won't do that. But
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
his development has been so crucial, and he had 13 rebounds the other game. The guy is so good finishing at the rim. He's automatic from three. His perimeter defense has gotten better. He's still not good, but he's gotten better. He can slash to the basket. He's become a good all-around player. That's got to be priority one for them in the offseason. But yeah, no, I mean, they just have no chance. But what I'll say this, because there's nothing really to say about the Nets. They're depleted. They've got a good coach. They've got a scheme. They've made Karis LeVert's days the living hell.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, holy shit, I think the Raptors are going to the finals. And maybe that's because I have recency bias of watching this team just destroy the Nets. But they're now 11-1 in the bubble. They play incredible perimeter defense. They don't miss shots. They have 1 through 10 are solid.
Mm-hmm.
They are better, in my opinion, than the Bucks. After watching these games, they're not as top heavy, obviously, with Giannis there, but just the complete team that they have. Kyle Lowry is a pit bull on defense. The guy's everywhere, doesn't miss shots, gets his team involved. They have some other guy that's going to get maxed out that went to Wichita State. It's incredible. Which now, the more and more I watch him, I don't want the Knicks to sign him. I think it almost might be not a terrible idea after watching how good this guy's played. So I'm just saying, and that was my transition for you, but I'm just saying these Raptors, man, watch out.
Yeah, but you think that they can? The Celtics aren't gonna. The Celtics are just as deep, and they're just as good. The coach is just as good. And
no, he's not. No, he's not just as good.
He's a little overrated. But it's just
Nick Nurse.
I just feel like the Celtics are deep. And they have Kemba, and don't have to worry about Kyrie's nonsense anymore. And I just think that they're a good team, and that's their bracket, and that's going to be a tough team to get through. And they're going to be rested because they're going to dispose of the Sixers soon. The Sixers are shorthanded; they have no shot.
Oh, they're a mess.
So that Celtics Raptors second round is going to be really good. So I'm looking
going to be great.
The East second rounds are going to be good. Heat and Bucks and Raptors and Celtics. I'm looking forward to that.
They're going to be very good. That'll be an interesting matchup. And I just from watching, and I get it. I've had this bias because I'm watching them destroy the Nets. But my God, they are fun to watch. I mean, they're just so good at what they do. Couple of other things I thought was interesting too about like this bubble life is that there's no home court advantage with these playoffs. Right. So I think it's kind of interesting too. Like, let's say that the Toronto team went back to Brooklyn, the Nets would have a fighting chance.
They wouldn't steal win a game, maybe. Yeah,
you can't.
Yeah. Or keep it close.
Like, and I thought about this, which made it interesting. Like the Lakers Blazers series, right? Mm-hmm. Game 1, Damian Lillard was awesome, right? Mm-hmm. Blazers win game 1. Lakers then get game 2. So in theory, right now, like if they were going to Portland to play,
you'd be nervous. Yeah,
you'd be nervous. But the fact that there's still like this bubble, no home court advantage,
right?
I feel better for the Lakers because they don't have to go to Portland now. They can just go win these games. I mean, the more and more I think about it, I think I don't have any. I don't know who it like gives an advantage to.
It
If
changes your
it's the road
perception.
team, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just so weird now that split doesn't have the same impact as it did before. Like, oh, you
Right.
split on the road. Now it's like you got to get to 4. I don't care how you get there. So I think like this momentum doesn't shift as much as you would see. You know, like I think if that game's in Philly last night, the Sixers beat the Celtics.
Yeah.
But because it's in a neutral site, they don't get that edge from the home court. They don't get that riled up Joel Embiid in the crowd feeding off it. Doesn't happen. And then the Celtics, boom, get the win. And then the final point, as I've been rambling here, it got me thinking like the Warriors in the bubble with all their shooters would have been really fun to watch. But,
Oh, of course.
they're not
Of
like
course.
with Curry and Clay, it would have been ridiculous how good they would be there.
Yeah, and the other funny thing about the bubble is the cameras. You ever catch the players? They like catch themselves like they'll be looking around and they'll be like, they know all of them know where the cameras are, and then you'll catch them just be like, did you see? Did they see me? Did they see me? Did they see me? They'll do that whole. They're like, oh shit, the camera's on me. I gotta like, do my little do my little thing. Yeah. It's just that makes me that'd be a really good drinking game. Drink whenever the player gets caught looking at the camera. That'd be really fun.
We could do a bad weather fans drinking game if it was on a Friday.
Yeah.
After 10, we could do a second
10.
half of a game. I can't do it at work.
We'll celebrate the the Mavericks will be eliminated by then, so we don't have to celebrate that. But
you're rooting hard for that.
Yeah, I am. I just can't stand it. I just can't stand that it's thrown in our face every 5 seconds. So that's why it's like, yeah, Doncic is hurt now, and Porzingis, got hurt in the first or got thrown out in the first game, and he has a banged up other knee now, and Marcus Morris is in his head and he thinks he has to fight all the time. And, it's just funny because everybody's going to be like, well, they lost because they got hurt. Okay, well, they still lost. They were going to lose anyway. And they're going to lose, that's why the pick next year is so valuable, because they were only the 7th seed this year. Next year, you got the Blazers coming, the Suns are coming, the Pelicans are coming, the Grizzlies are coming, the Spurs might make a resurgence. Yeah, they're loaded. And if one injury to Luka, and then Porzingis will get his yearly month off for an injury. And look at that. They can be out of the playoffs, and then that's a lottery pick. Yeah, it's not going to be probably not going to be top 5, but it could be the 12th or 10th pick easily. Why not? So that's why people bug about it. Oh, it's terrible trade. Let's wait till it's a terrible trade. So that's why I'm just very, very deep into that, and it just annoys me. Seeing his face just annoys me now. It really does.
Well, unfortunately, it's just going to take years until we officially know who had the better end of that trade, because the players that will be Knicks don't even exist yet, or they exist. They're human beings. They're born, but they don't even exist on the Knicks roster yet. And you can't judge a player how he'll be in his first 2, 3, 4 years. It could take a long time to see how things develop. Maybe they move the picks other places. And things like that.
That's true. That's true.
So you just don't know. But I understand. I mean, and I would be honest. Like if I was you and I'm in the moment and I'm watching that, I'd be okay if I'm like, screw it. I just want to see them lose. I don't want to see them have success. It irritates you. That's fine. It's okay.
He does. And it's not even just him personally, which it kind of is him personally, but it's just I would probably be over it by now. But it's more of the overall world of sports media where he hits a jump shot in the crowd and the national media goes crazy, and what I mean, things like that. Like they avoid the negatives for him, and they just fixate on the positives. And it's the opposite for the Knicks. I know there's a lot more negatives for the Knicks, but it's just look at the picture holistically. We've talked about this a million times too. The Knicks have so many draft picks over the next 5 years. The one and done might be done. They have multiple seconds. There might be 1 year in the future where there's 2 first rounds essentially, and the Knicks might have 4 picks that year. So, it's just relax. You know what I mean? Like it's going to take a while for this to turn around, but they have the cap space. They have some young players. They now have a coach who knows how to coach. He wasn't my first choice, but I'm just chill. Like, the Mavericks have 2 good players, very good players. Well, Luka's could be a great player, but just chill. Are the Mavericks going to turn into the Blazers of the South? Or are they going to turn into, the Warriors? It's more likely the Blazers of the South, where they're in the playoffs, 6th, 7th, 5th seed, every year, and they never win a title unless they do something else. You know what I mean?
But the one thing is, and their roster around Luka is still not good enough. But if Luka's going to be like a LeBron level player, if he's going to be that good, they're going to be there. I mean, that's just how the way the league works. Now, if you don't have a second star with him, and I think Porzingis is good, but I don't think he's like I mean, he's not like, I don't think he's
He's not a star.
hardcore two. But I mean, like again, like the Blazers with McCollum last year went to the Western Conference Finals, and McCollum's never been an NBA All-Star.
Or Chris Middleton, somebody like that.
Right. So it is doable. It is doable.
Yeah.
It is doable. Like I think KP is better than Middleton at this point, or similar level player.
Players,
I would say similar level player. I would say, but but the point is it's doable. But again, it's just on how good can Luka become, and he's still just a baby. He's so young.
Yeah.
So that to me is the key, and then how they build the roster
also
around them.
Health
too. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So you don't know if he's going to stay healthy. He already now he has a second knee that was hurt this week. He said the other knee, not the one that he tore up. It's just this guy's going to fall apart. And it just seems like
you've got the injury report.
I know all of his injuries, every single injury.
Like Luka Doncic when he was 18 years old. You got to hear about this. You got to hear about what happened to his fingernail. You got to hear about this, Mike.
I'm talking about Porzingis.
He was. Oh, we're talking about. Sorry.
Well, either one. If Luka gets hurt next year, it's over. They're going to be in the lottery. They're going to win 20 games.
That's true. You were talking about that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And you know what also sucks is that I love Tim Hardaway Jr. A lot of Knicks fans hate him, but I love Tim Hardaway Jr. And I want to root for him so badly, but I just can't. I'm like, damn, I can't root for him.
You played him in FanDuel, which we forgot to do again.
Yeah.
Whatever. I always thought Tim Hardaway Jr. was good. He killed the Nets. He's one of those. He's another one of those guys that would kill the Nets. Like Trier would kill the Nets. I swear to God.
Excuse me.
Who's that?
Enes Kanter.
Enes Kanter kills the Nets. I'll tell you, the new guy that killed the Nets is Norman Powell. Oh my God, that guy does not miss. I don't think I've ever seen him miss in my life.
And Van Vliet. Van Vliet is Isaiah Thomas versus you guys. It's just and
the good Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, the good Isaiah Thomas.
The good Isaiah Thomas.
That's what I was thinking of.
They've been fun.
Not the 2A Isaiah Thomas, the 1A Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, no, the bad
Isaiah
boy.
Thomas.
Yeah, Isaiah Thomas. I'm happy too because the Sixers shittiness has helped the Nets. That was a shrewd trade. They got very lucky, but that was a shrewd trade by Sean Marks as he made a deal on draft night last year, which is more than a year ago. Last year's draft, and he pulled off a trade, and they got next year's Sixers pick. And at the time, I was like, Sixers pick, it's going to be 20 something.
That's what I'm saying.
But they have been so bad that they're the 19th pick. And I know like all these Knicks fans will be like, the Nets trade there. They don't have their pick. It's basically the same thing.
Same pick, yeah.
Like, are you going to tell me that the 17th pick is so much better than the 19th in this draft?
No, there's no difference.
Who knows? I mean, come on. So they still have the asset this year. They still have it if they need that in a move maybe to get somebody else as they build their championship level roster.
Yes,
I mean it is. So I mean it really is.
I know. I'm just like
I just had the championship level roster. Yeah. It's fun. I'm like looking at next year's roster. And if they all play together, which is a big if, and if there's a season, I'm envisioning Karras and Kyrie with Joe Harris and Kevin Durant and Jared Allen. I'm like, that's good starting.
I didn't mention DeAndre Jordan.
He comes off the bench. He's their backup center, man.
You better start though. You better start, or the next coach will get fired again.
No. Whatever. Then put Jared off the bench. I don't care. With Torian Prince, Spencer Dinwiddie,
and Cheese.
Thiago Lou Cabarro, if I'm saying his name right. What? And Cheese? TLC. Yeah. Have you seen TLC play?
Yeah, he's good.
He's another one of those guys off the scrap heap, and they made a decent – this is what they do. They make these guys decent players. And I guess I understand it's a necessity if there's nobody there, so he's going to get minutes. But this guy can really shoot. He can get to the basket. He's putting some games where he's putting 20, 25 points per game. He's just another shooter to put around Kevin Durant when you need somebody to make shots.
Yeah.
They just have depth. They're still a back. They're a Serge Ibaka away from, I think, the complete roster or somebody like that. But it's just exciting to see, like, when you're like Joe Harris is out, he's going to be like their sixth best player next year, or something like that.
Well, that's what Shaq always says. Shaq always makes a point on TV. He goes, "The superstars don't win championships. The role players win championships. You get the stars, but then the role players need to make the plays to win the championships. The Derek Fishers, the Robert Horrys, the whoever else. What was his name that used to be on every team? Posey, remember him? He was
James
on every
Posey.
team. Yeah, and there's guys like that win teams championships, win playoff games because the stars are going to get theirs. They're going to get their 20 to 30 points and their 10 assists or their 10 rebounds, whatever it is. They're going to be there, unless they're Porzingis and they get scared. But it's going to happen, and then the other guys are the ones that really win the titles. So That's why the Nets really do need to sign Joe Harris, and that's why the Knicks really need to sign him too, because the Knicks need that shooter. Either Harris or Gallinari, and bring Gallinari home would be a nice story. But I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen with the Nets. I mean, it's hard to say because of Durant is the X factor, and then Kyrie, you don't know where his mental game is at right now, and
I do.
It's kind of scary for you. I'm not even trolling. It's kind of scary for you. Like this is a very good possibility that it can blow completely up and they win 30 games next year.
I don't know about 30.
It's possible. Durant gets re-injured, or he isn't the same, and then
or
Kyrie is in and out.
Or if it's like a 50-game season, so I guess you're right. I mean, that's the truth.
35-game season, and they win 30 games. Yeah, exactly.
I did get a little depressed when I was thinking about this yesterday in this COVID world. And it's fun having the basketball back. But I was like, if we were in normal times and everything was just what it had been for the last, normal life, none of this crap.
Right.
We would be end of August, right? I'd be like, in 6 weeks, I'm going to see the Nets team that I've been waiting my whole life for. Like, here it comes. And now it's going to be Lakers versus the fucking Raptors or Bucks in the finals. And I'm like
the I feel bad for Clippers fans. Clippers fans have been the worst franchise in professional sports. The worst franchise in professional sports. Since before Chris Paul got there, they were literally the worst franchise in professional sports history. Yeah. And, they've had a good run for the last 7-8 years, but now this is the year that they've been waiting for. They have the team. They have a squad. Like, their team is deep. They have Reggie Jackson I know Reggie Jackson's inefficient, but he's a starting point guard in the NBA. He's coming off the bench, and he barely gets 8 minutes. They're loaded, like a loaded squad. And now they're not even going to be there if they get to the finals. It's almost like they probably deep down hope it doesn't happen this year. You know what I mean? And hope it's next year when everybody's back there, because I would feel the same way. I mean, I kind of had that feeling with. I know the Mets aren't going to do anything, but I kind of had that feeling. Like, I want them to win, of course. I've never seen it, but do I really want my first championship in my entire life on any of my sports teams to be now? Like, in a 60-game season, and I'm rooting for them. I'm watching it and I'm rooting for them. But
so then the answer is yes.
I do, but it's like, is it going to be the same?
What
I mean?
No, it won't be the same. But how do you not root for your team to win? You can't you can't be watching the Mets, and they're
I'm not
playing
root against them. But deep down, I'm just like, if they lose, it's not going to be like, fuck, it's over. It's going to be like, all right.
There'll be some of that. It'll be in the moment.
It won't be the same level.
Like Fernando Tatis Jr. is not going to hit a home run, against Edwin Diaz, and you're going to be like, all right, it's out of here. That means I don't have to win this season. Great.
Well, I'll be happy. He's my first pick in fantasy, actually. That's my guy. I've been saying he's been a superstar for 2 years, and people are finally starting to notice it, man. My first. I went down and got him. I had like the 9th pick in the first round. I got him in the first round. Everybody's like laughing at me. I'm like, this is going to be the superstar.
You were right.
Name my team. Hannah, my fiance, beautiful fiance, let me say. She named my team. The name of the team is oh damn, I lost the team name. Show some Tatis.
All right, Alex. So I had to hit pause on this stupid thing because it took you an hour and a half to find the fucking name. So what is the team name for your fantasy league that you're so passionate about you don't even know the name?
Love them Tatis.
Love them Tatis. Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Hannah, my beautiful fiance, named the team.
Very cool. Yeah. So you were ahead of the curve on that.
Oh yeah.
It was one of the funniest things in the world to me, and this is just the way sports radio is, and you got to talk about it. But the whole and it was great because it was like the perfect. It's funny, like from my perspective at work, I saw this Fernando Tatis story, and I'm like, oh yes, this is the shit. Like from doing a national radio show, there's not a better topic than Fernando Tatis swinging at 3-0, hitting a grand slam, and everybody's shitting on
the game.
Everybody's shitting on him for saying like how much his team, his coaches, and the respect the game. It is such a good topic for me because it can resonate with everybody, and it's just so funny to me. Like if you actually got upset with him, I thought it was so odd. Like were people really upset with that?
Yeah,
it's strange.
And that's not even like laying down a bunt in a no-hitter, where everybody knows you just don't do that. That's just something you just don't do. At least try to swing the bat in a no-hitter. Right. Don't lay down a bunt in the 9th inning with 2 outs. That's just something you don't do. But swinging 3-0 with the bases loaded and what was it, 7-0 game?
That's game.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing.
Well, the thing about baseball is there's no time. It's not like in the NBA if you're up 30 and you're with 3 minutes left and you're going balls to the wall with like your starters in, trying to put on points to really embarrass the other team. That's
like the Patriots do every year. They run up the score. Yeah.
I mean, God bless the Patriots. They got the best coach in football. Like, that would be inappropriate, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you're up 7 runs and it's baseball where anybody can come back, I think back to that Mets-Nats game last year, right? Where they were up 6 runs or something and they blew the fucking game.
Of course,
like, you would have liked 3 more runs. So
right.
it's just so funny. It's just so the thing was so funny because then like I'm seeing this topic. I'm like, I love this. And you're like, turn on every show and everybody's got an opinion about it. It just, I don't know. It just makes me laugh.
The best thing that happened to him too, to his career, is that because now he's a name. Before that, nobody knew him. He was in San Diego. Everybody was mocking Manny Machado last year for signing there. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, you guys don't understand. The Padres have the best farm system in baseball. Manny Machado sees the future. He knows that he doesn't want to be stuck on a team that's not going to go anywhere. He doesn't want he hated LA. He's like, I need to go to the sun and it's gonna be nice. And these guys are coming. He knows Fernando Tatis is coming. He knows, all the other guys that they have. Mejia, the catcher they had at the time, and all these pitchers, Paddock, and they're coming. And everybody was mocking him for it. And I'm like, you guys need to know that this guy Tatis is coming. And and he went undrafted last year in fantasy, and I picked him up to, we have an A position in our fantasy for like prospects that are not, called up. And I added him for that. And then all of a sudden he's called up for opening day and he was like the best. And I rode it to the championship, So, I mean, he got hurt later in like mid-year or something, but he was on the way to winning the rookie of the year out of nowhere. And it was an undrafted guy.
That's how you win. You're a smart, sophisticated manager for fantasy baseball. I'm very
know
impressed.
The name of my team, and that's what.
Have you ever been to San Diego?
I have about like 3 times actually. I have 2 friends down there.
Same. It's my favorite city in this country.
Yeah,
and I don't even think there's a close second.
No, not at all.
It's beautiful. That's where I proposed to my wife.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I proposed there. Yeah, in San Diego. I love it. I love it.
Mission Beach.
It was on top of the. Now I can't remember something.
Downtown.
No,
downtown,
it was on top. It was on
area?
top of the convention center, and you had to look at the Pacific Ocean.
Oh,
I went to Coronado Island. I think that's what it is, right? Coronado Island.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know the islands at all.
Maybe I got it wrong. I don't know. It's across. But it was just. I just love it there. It's just the food's good, the weather's good,
the vibe. Yeah, the vibe.
Yeah, I'm just so into it. Like if I was a baseball player and someone said you're going to San Diego, I'd be like, this is great.
Done.
Like, I might go there now. I mean, it's just. I mean, like if my wife said we're going to San Diego, I'd leave in a second. I wouldn't even question it. I don't even care.
CBS Sports Radio traded you to the San Diego affiliate.
97.3 The Fan. The program director Adam Klug I worked with Adam for 2+ years. Yeah, when I first got to CBS Sports Radio, I ran the board for the Doug Gottlieb show. Adam Klug was the producer. He came over from ESPN. I've got a great Adam Klug story, but I don't know if I can tell it on this. It's not like it's not. It's just a very funny story about one of our first times there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't say it. It's such a
no, that's not worth it.
Such a good story. No, it's not like he didn't do anything bad. It's just funny. But yeah, no, 97.3 The Fan. They've got Tony Gwynn Jr.'s, whose dad, Tony Gwynn Sr., obviously. Tony Gwynn Jr. is the evening host there from 3 to 7 Pacific. 97.3 The Fan. You can find it on radio.com. How about that?
Nice. That's a good plug. And I think he played. I think Tony Gwynn Jr. had a little spurt there, right?
A little bit. I don't think he was.
He wasn't that good.
Yeah, it wasn't his dad, obviously.
Yeah. And Tony Gwynn Sr. passed away, right? He passed away recently. Yeah,
he did the last couple of years.
And he was like their guy because now the Chargers are gone, and so it's kind of sad. The San Diego's like it's nothing now. It's just like the Padres, and that's it. But nobody cares. Nobody cares. Everybody's like, whatever, man. I'm just gonna smoke some weed and go on the beach, man. Fuck it.
It's a good ballpark. It's a really good.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Park's nice.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful place. Yeah.
I could do San Diego all day, man. I'm a big fan of. Big fan of that. But I'm glad you got Fernando Tatis on your fantasy team.
Thank you.
So is that 7? How does that work with all these games and teams that don't like? I'm curious because for example, the Mets right now, COVID-19 aren't playing the Yankees all weekend. So what happens? You just have to be really good at managing your roster.
Dead roster spots. There's a guy because I had on my team. I had Conforto, Dom Smith, and Clint Frazier.
Yeah.
So I'm holding on to Conforto and Dom Smith because Dom Smith is raking and Conforto is Conforto. And then Clint Frazier, I'm like, all right, let me cut him because, he's good, but I'm not waiting 4 days for Clint Frazier. And the Yankees are off Monday too, I think. So I'm just like, goodbye. And I added some pitcher and, I'm not going to deal with the dead roster spot, but I had 2 Cardinals pitchers. I had Flaherty and Hudson. And they were gone for like 2 weeks. The Cardinals were my team was struggling. But now that they're back, it's nice because now, at least, I can gain some ground if anybody cares.
You asked me to be in your fantasy league, and I won't get too in the weeds about everybody's league. Nobody everybody just cares about their own, I guess.
Right.
I don't know how people have the time to do baseball fantasy league. Like, nothing sounds more boring to me than sitting down and having to figure out your fucking baseball roster every day, especially now where it's actually kind of like difficult to do that,
Harder.
where you have stuff going on. Oh, that sounds awful to go out and try to figure out a baseball roster, find guys to play third base, find guys to play second base, find guys to play shortstop, figuring out this guy's sick, that guy has COVID. This, like, I can't even imagine wanting to do something like that. It just sounds like such a colossal waste of my time. But God bless you for doing it.
No, I love it. But you know what sucks is when you have too many hitters, because then you have to worry about who's playing what. You got to check the lineups constantly throughout the day to see who's starting, and that's the pain.
Right.
So I try to like limit the amount of hitters that I have, because you can also stack the box for pitchers with stats, because we do like the stats 6 for 6. I think it is like hits, whatever. So it's not points, it's stats. So if you have more Ks, you're going to win that category. So, so I try to have more pitchers and less hitters also, because it's less stressful, because if one guy's out, I can just put him in and that's it, easy. And I have a guy who has multiple positions and move him around, and that's it. It's not hard. It's not hard to stay on top of it. You make your move in the morning and you add your guy, and that's it. It's not really that difficult. You're on your phone 24/7 anyway in this generation, in this era of life. What's the difference? It's one more app to check,
Yeah, you really are on your phone. You really are on your phone that much. It's weird now if I don't hear from somebody that I'm like accustomed to hearing from all the time. Right. If like they don't call me back or they don't text me back, I'm like, what? Where are you? What is happening?
Where'd you go?
How are you not? How are you not texting me right away? You're one of those people. If I don't hear from you, well, I guess during the work day it's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have actual work going on. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But like it is strange now, man. Like with everything going on.
Are you okay? Maybe we should send the cops.
If you don't hear from somebody, it's like it's just like, why weren't you by your phone? It's just so different.
Like you're not doing anything. I know you're not out. I know you're not doing anything.
Right. I know you're not out.
Especially during the day. You could be at the beach. Like that's a very legitimate thing where for some reason nobody gets service on the beach. I don't know why that doesn't work, but it's very rare that people have service on the beach, and at least Long Island beaches and Long Beach, it's very rare that there's ever service on the beach. It drives me crazy, because I want to listen to, radio.com or listen to a podcast or something. And it's just like, I have to make sure everything's downloaded before I get to the beach. Otherwise I'm going to be screwed. And then I got to listen to, I can listen to music and stuff that I have downloaded, but it's not the same. Sometimes you want to listen to something that's a little more entertaining, so, but
it's because the T-Mobile guy is, getting ripped and lifting too much. He's not there helping your provider, helping your service that you can listen to podcasts and you can listen to radio.com.
What's that? He's worried about his gains.
Yeah, he's worried about his gains.
All right,
Alex.
We want to do the poll question now?
Yeah, let's hear what you got.
I lost track of time when we paused. Okay, so all right, the poll question of the week. Obviously, you can guess what it's about. So, Knicks fans, it's the day after the lottery. So this was Friday, and we had time to sleep it off. How are you feeling? Still pissed they dropped, or I'm over it and I'm Googling mocks? What do you think is the answer?
Googling mocks.
Yes, correct.
Because you guys are, I won't have a nest.
Because we're so smart. We're always on the next step. We're a step ahead of everybody. Yeah.
I would be the same way. I'd be the same way. You got to look ahead. You got to see what you got. You got to get excited about your team. Got such a great foundation there with the Knicks now. You've got this young guard and RJ Barrett. Boy, he's going to be special. You've got a center and some dude named Mitchell, right?
Yes, Mitchell Robinson.
Mitchell Robinson. I mean, you've got
Julius
the core
Randle.
pieces. Julius Randle. I even forgot about him. You've got a coach that has pedigree that took his team to like deep in the playoffs with the Bulls. Knicks are in a good place.
Yeah, they are. And thanks for your sarcasm. So it won, but 63.9% said they were over it.
Yeah.
So here's a couple of comments we have. So we have Angry Knicks fan at Save the Knicks 1. I didn't expect to win the lottery. This wasn't the year to win it. So he's basically saying I didn't expect to win it, and who cares if we didn't win it. Then we have RJ Felton. So he's at RJ Felton 1. He goes, Are there any real top picks? I don't think so. Magic, Shaq, Bird, MJ. People really getting carried away. Normally it's a gamble anyhow. This year is so wacky. So it's pretty much the same. There's no,
Yeah, you just don't know. It's only going to take time to figure it out. But again, thank God we didn't have to see Twitter of like the Knicks winning.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been the same though. If they won the lottery this year, I would have been happy. But if they won the lottery last year, it would have been like euphoria.
Yeah. Oh no. Don't. Oh
Yeah.
yes. Right.
Or
No,
I
understand that. Like last year, it was like legit nerve wracking watching it. This year, I was more like, just don't win. Last year, it was like, oh.
Right. Last year, we were just in the beginning of our wedding planning. We were engaged. We just got engaged, and Hannah wanted to go over some documents and like go over like some photo, like whatever, I don't know, some wedding crap that's boring to me that I'm just going to say yes to. And, or, just support, like, oh yeah, I understand.
That's the word you're looking for.
Yeah,
Support.
support,
Say
yeah.
yes to.
Yes, I'll say yes to most things. And, especially with that, because I really don't care. But so she's like doing all this. I'm like, Hannah, you got to give me like 15 minutes. Just give me 15 minutes and let me stress this. And then she's like, then you'll work on weddings with me and things with me all night. I'm like, yes, I'll do whatever you want the rest of the night. Just give me 15 minutes right now.
And you must have been in a bad mood then after, right?
Yeah, so
worse mood than last night? Or 2 nights ago?
Yeah,
whatever it was?
Worse mood. Last night pissed me off a lot. Like, it was unexpected that it pissed me off because I went into it so even keel, like whatever, because I just wasn't. I couldn't fathom them falling 2 spots, and that's guilt. That's my fault. I should have, but I just I couldn't wrap my head around it. It was just how does this happen? Like, at least let us stay put or move down 1. I wouldn't have been mad, but move down 2. It's like you could have won 10 more games.
It's a lottery.
Yeah,
it's a lottery. It's all luck. And your team's got bad luck in the lottery.
Getting angry again.
The NBA isn't rigging it for the Knicks to be bad. The NBA wants the Knicks to be good. Why would they do that?
They love the Knicks being bad. They can make money on the Knicks being bad.
Topic.
They don't care if they're good. They want the other teams to be relevant.
That's complete garbage. I couldn't disagree with you more. You're telling me they want. Do you know the revenue they would make if they were better?
I think they want it, but they don't care either way. I think it's not like a big deal. I don't.
No, I disagree. I think they want them great. They want the Lakers great. They want the Knicks great. But it's interesting you bring this up, and we can go for a minute here. I think it's interesting. The Knicks have almost become a punching bag, and you say Knicks for clicks, but it's almost become a thing now that's even more than like, I think people that don't know sports just make fun of the Knicks because it's like a new thing to do. It's even more than that. Like it's beyond, oh, I hate the Knicks. Like for me, I don't like the Knicks. I don't want the Knicks to be good. I legit want them to suck. I think though, to your point of Knicks for clicks, it's just become this like, let's just have fun and mock the Knicks because that's what everybody does, and it's just part of like the NBA culture now. And people don't even realize they're doing it. Like, people just like to have fun at their expense. But to the idea that the league doesn't want the Knicks to be solid, hell no. The league wants the Knicks to be a good franchise. The league wants the Knicks to be going up in playoff battles and going up and kicking the shit out of the Indiana Pacers and being like, all right, we beat Victor Oladipo in the second round. All right, you know what? NBA on ABC. It's Knicks versus Giannis. You telling me the NBA doesn't want that?
I mean, I'm sure they want it, definitely, but it doesn't really change. It'll change much. I don't know how to explain it, but it doesn't really hurt their bottom line if the Knicks are bad, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I think it helps them tremendously if the Knicks are good for the NBA. You heard me come on this podcast, and all I say is how badly I hate the Knicks, how badly I despise the Knicks.
But you understand what they mean.
But truly, it comes from a place of, I grew up as a Nets fan. I'm across the river in New Jersey. I'm fucking seeing Knick bullshit all my life. It drives me fucking crazy, okay? It drives me nuts, and I don't like seeing it. But I understand where it came from when I grew up, and it was in the 90s, and the team was decent. And they went to the NBA Finals, and they lost to the Rockets in 7, and the whole thing, and LJ with the elbow. Like, I can't stand it, okay? But I understand that it's good for them. I know it's good for the league. I can't imagine that the NBA is going, okay, Knicks suck again, ha, ha, ha. Yeah, they're playing up on that because it's the thing to do now. But the league wants the Knicks good. There's just no way the league wants the Knicks to be bad. Like the NFL, like they like the Giants to be good. They like the Steelers to be good. There's teams that are equated to the franchises, to the league, that are supposed to be good. Like, you're telling me that that when the Lakers sucked for the past 10 years, they were happy about it? Or now that they're good, they're happy? Now, maybe it's been hurtful that LeBron's on the West Coast and he's been buried a little, and it's harder to get attention on that end of things. I get that. But from a standpoint of the team being good, the league likes when the Lakers are good, the Celtics are good, the Knicks are good, the Sixers are good. Some of these iconic franchises that have been part of the establishment of the NBA, they want them to be good. It's more valuable for the Knicks to be good than the Suns.
Mm-hmm. No, and you're right. You're right, and you're right about it.
I'm telling the Knicks fan, come on.
I just disagree a little bit. I mean, I respect your opinion, and that was a good rant, and I understand where you're coming from.
Okay.
But I just feel it's a little something there. That's all I have to say. There's a little something. It's just annoying. Like you were saying, it's a thing to do. I was thinking to make fun of the Knicks is the thing to do, where it's like Ben Simmons can't shoot a 3. That's like the thing to do. That's like the funny jokes. But I'm just so tired of seeing it, and I know it's not going to change. The Knicks are good, but it even if the Knicks are good, it won't change because in the 90s the Knicks still got clowned for a lot of stuff. So I don't need to see guys like Shannon Sharp, start telling me about all the Knicks moves, and all of a sudden he loves to see the Knicks. Like, where did this come from? Who the fuck are you, bro?
Well, that's his job. I mean, I get
I know,
that.
but
That's his
don't
job.
sit there and tell me that you love seeing the Knicks. This just come up out of nowhere. I just saw this out of nowhere on Twitter that all of a sudden you're talking about the Knicks, and you have Michael Rappaport on, and you're talking about like, who the hell are you? Why are we talking? Why are the Knicks the topic of conversation? They moved down 2 spots in the lottery. The Timberwolves won the lottery. It's a big deal for them. And the Warriors are the number 2 pick. They're going to come back from a revamp their dynasty off this pick. And they're going to get healthy. And the Knicks are the number 1 story because they moved down 2 slots. Like, are we kidding right now?
I don't know if they were the number 1 story. But they were a story.
Like you didn't see a lot of these stories then. The lottery night, it was all over the place. And then yesterday morning, all the TV shows and all the stuff, and it was nonsense. Why are the Knicks the topic of conversation? Why are they the topic of conversation at all? What about the Bulls? What about the Hornets? What about these teams that are in the lottery every year? Why are they not talked about? Because they don't get the attention that the Knicks do when you mention them or you make fun of them. It's the thing to do, like you said.
I was so happy they lost. It's funny, like you mentioned all that stuff. I have no interest in watching any talk show talk about like make fun of the Knicks. I'm like, this is boring. Like, this is boring. They suck. This is boring. They had a bad night. But I'm like, let me see it and then put it to the side. I don't need to see Shannon Sharp talk about the Knicks' bad luck or Max Kellerman say the real team in New York is you got to root for the Nets.
Yeah. Meanwhile, nobody's stretching. Nobody's
I don't
care. You're a fan of your team. You're a fan of your team.
You're a fan of your team. You're a fan of your team. The younger generation, someone that's 5, 12 year old, 11 years old, or whatever it is that molds young minds. Right. Those are the guys that need to wake up in the morning and have their dads and moms go to them and say, you know what, Johnny?
You should be a Nets fan. Yeah.
You should be a Nets fan. You know why? Because Spencer Dinwiddie is going to be incredible from the perimeter. Get to the paint. Kick it out.
Invest in his contract.
You can invest in his contract. Do you want to be with this mess? Like, no. The younger generations are going to change, and that's why you got to be fired up in the last 10 minutes of this podcast.
Yeah. No,
that's why, kids, if you're watching this,
no,
we need an NBA next season.
Don't trust me. They're going to have 2 years of maybe being good, and that's it. And then be back to irrelevance.
Back to irrelevance. They made the playoffs 5 out of 8 years, which is unbelievable.
Great.
It's great. It is good considering they had one of the worst trades in NBA history sandwiched between it. That's pretty good.
I understand, but at the same time, it's everybody points to that. The Nets have such a great culture. The 5 of the last 8 years, whatever, they've been to the playoffs. And with a terrible trade, sure. But then they say, oh, the Knicks have been terrible for 20 years straight, which is bullshit, So it's
they had a couple. They had a couple
3
good in there.
straight playoff years, but that doesn't count. That doesn't count. No, that doesn't count. No, that was bullshit. That was nothing. But the Nets, they got lost. They lost in the first round 5 out of 8 years. I mean,
now we got
second round once. I mean, that's a big deal. That's a big deal, guys.
Yeah. See, we got the hands going. Now I know that I got you a little
revved
up.
The Nets did it. The Nets got to the playoffs, bro. They got to the playoffs.
I cannot wait to do this. I cannot wait to do this podcast with you next season.
Right.
Cannot wait.
I can't wait to go to a game.
What's that?
We got to go to a game together. We got to go to a game together. Well, it depends what the Knicks do this offseason.
We'll go to a virtual game together. I mean, we could do this.
We can watch a game, and do.
There's got to be a way to set this up and put like a game on in the background.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is it'd be cool, if you could put the game in this screen so that when people watch the podcast, they could see like the top right corner of the game and not like set your DVRs, hit play on 3, 2, 1. Not like that.
Well, you can log into with your cable provider on one of these sites like TNT and have the game on that. I can share my screen. Ooh. And then we can have the game going. See, I'm the tech guy too, bro. It's not just you. You're not just the tech.
Well, first of all, I want to say we're recording this. I think I figured out a way, like a third into like 2 minutes into this episode, where we're sharing the screen now. Did you notice that, or can only I see that on my end?
Yeah, I think it's on. It's been shared the whole time for me. I can see you the whole time.
No. So I set it up where I think when we watch this, it's not going to be like how it was in episode 23 of the first YouTube video did. Yeah, it's like there's you, there's me, there's you, there's me. I think now it's going to just be us together. Mm-hmm. That's my fingers crossed. Or we're watching this and I sound like a complete buffoon because you've been watching Bad Weather Fans for the last 40 minutes and you've just seen Mike or Alex. We'll find out.
Yeah,
I'm excited for the end of this.
Hopefully for their sake, they're seeing me and not you, though. Hopefully for their sake.
Yeah, thank you very much because I look old. All right, finish off the questions. What are the questions?
Excuse me as I get choked up. I need a sip of water. Hold on.
That really offended me. I am very sensitive. That got
I'm sorry. I was only kidding. I'm sorry.
No, not from you. From the guy that hates me.
Oh, the guy who blocked you on Twitter.
I feel bad. If you're listening or watching this podcast, I meant no harm by that.
I think his name is Sean.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I was just trying to be funny. It
Yeah.
didn't work out. I promise. I like you're like, I got blocked. This guy sucks. Blah. I'm not gonna take that. I'm sorry.
I just laugh about it, especially if it's sometimes.
Sean.
My favorite time I get blocked is when you're in some random conversation about some random team and some guy just hits you up out of nowhere, no name, no picture. The picture is like the Mavericks logo.
Here we go.
And they say, "How can you say this about this? He's a this." And I go do one thing back, and then they just block me. Like, what the fuck? Like, you couldn't have a conversation. No, I just laugh at him like, well, you lost. You couldn't answer, and that's the thing. You just can't take it.
This one I was just mean. I was mean, Nick. I was mean to the Knicks fan. Sorry. You guys are really smart fan base, so
Smartest
much.
Fan base.
So much. Like, where did John Starks go to college? All right.
4 different colleges, actually, in Oklahoma. Actually, I don't even know. Oklahoma State and a bunch of different ones. I don't know. He went to like 4 different schools. It was like bizarre, but he had a crazy career. But that's another story. We don't want to test my knowledge on that. But because I'll ace everything. But okay, so we have some more shout outs. So Alex Terranova at AlexTerra03. He goes, used to it already, nothing new. Following the lottery, he's used to it. Who cares?
Gotcha.
That's my guy, though. Then we have Kenny at Kenny Meer, Mehr. It's more how they drop. The 2 teams right behind them move up, just so typical. It's not the end of the world in this draft, but still annoying. I think that's the perfect description of Knicks fans right now. It's not the end of the world, but it's fucking bullshit. Then we have at 11JT, so JAY. Been saying this from the jump. I hate the top of this draft class anyway. Perfect draft to trade or stay put and draft an older player that can come in and contribute ASAP. No project picks. This makes sense, but I don't want to trade the pick. Just keep drafting. Keep on drafting. Unless you're landing Giannis in a trade, which you're not. Just keep drafting. That's it.
I don't know if the project pick or not. I mean, if you think it's the guy that's going to be the best player and has the biggest upside, don't be shy away from it, because it's not like, for example, the Warriors at a project pick is very different than the Knicks with a project pick based on where the teams are. So I would say, if you think this guy's going to be a star, don't stay away from him, because it might take another year or two.
Right. I mean, the Warriors, I think they should just take Wiseman if he's there. I think they should just take him and go from there and just have this young big man with all the shooters. But people think they're going to trade the pick. I think you said you think they're going to trade the pick, right?
I think it's worth exploring, because I mean, the thing for the Warriors that was really exposed this year was, I mean, they weren't going to win games, but when they lost their players, their depth was bad. I mean, it was like they had these incredible Hall of Fame caliber players, and then guys you've never heard of that you were like, I guess I'll play on FanDuel tonight because I need to find a bargain player that's going to get minutes, and I know that he's going to, by default, has to get stats because there's no other people on the court. They need some depth. So I'd be curious if the deal. I don't think you're getting like a star in return, but if, like, for example, the Sixers were involved and they could find or Horford's really declined, but if you could get,
they won't be able to afford him either.
You could get guys like that level of player, like you could get to plug a hole, like 2 or 3 of those guys, where you could then even out the roster. I mean, it's worth looking into. But then at the same time, it's like, why not take a guy like Wiseman, and then you could start looking at the foundation for moving forward when Curry and Clay are at the end of their careers, which will
they're not even that old. They're not that old. They're
not
be
that
around
old
for another 5 years, so they can pass the torch if he's good.
Yeah,
I mean, but that's a lot of pressure on the kid. So what, sink or swim. You can go into worse situations. You can get drafted by the Pistons and be in the abyss. So better off getting dropped in the middle of San Francisco than you are that. So, all right, I got 3 more for you, and then we can call it a day. So we have at CapZBuy. We got double jumped. I'm still pissed. So there's that. Then we have my guy at L_Nino201. I'm good. If we don't trade up, I am perfectly comfortable with what will be available at 8. We are going to end up having a choice of Cole Anthony, Tyrese Halliburton, Kira Lewis, I don't know if I'm saying his first name right, or Toppin. We are getting one of those guys. I suggest people start to do their homework on the first 3. So you have a test next week, Mike. Okay?
I like this guy because he's like, listen, everybody, this is where we're at. This is your homework assignment. Come back. Leon Rose is listening like, okay, I guess I have to do this.
Well, fuck, yeah. And Nino said it. We got to get this done.
Thank God I was reminded.
Yeah. That's my guy. We shouted him out last week. No, he's funny. He's
like
a good guy. He knows what he's talking about. That's yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I would love Toppin because he's gonna be like a freak athlete, but I don't really want him. I would love Danny also, but that's probably just because he's an Israeli, and it would be cool to have a Jewish guy on the Knicks. But I think Cole Anthony would be cool because of his dad and the fun like connections there. But I'm just sitting there like, all right, let's just see what happens. We got to see what the Warriors do first before we can see any real mock. No mocks. And it's also fucking weird that the draft is in October. Like we're having an NBA draft in October. Like the end of October.
That's strange.
It's bizarre.
And I assume it'll be virtual.
I would assume so, unless
because October's only in 2 months.
I know, it's crazy. How
are we that long away,
man? How are we still like this? But. Another world. And the last one, Andre Lewis at ATLWR14. I think we trade up to 2 because Golden State needs a solid player, not a project, since they are title contenders. So
what would the Knicks give up?
Yeah, they would have to go with their 2 picks this year. So you would think 8 and whatever it is, 26.
But the Warriors want players. They don't want
players.
Picks.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Who would they trade for?
I don't know. Like Mitchell Robinson.
I mean, like Randall, I guess would be an okay Warrior, right?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah,
Randall would make sense.
But is that worth the number 2 pick in the draft? Julius Randall? No way.
No, definitely not.
Knicks
just trying to think like who on the Knicks roster would be worthy for like where the Warrior situation is.
Mitchell Robinson would, but why would the Knicks do that? Then the Knicks are just you're trading like the Family Guy thing. You're trading the either the boat or the mystery box. Like I posted that recently. It's like the mystery box can be anything. It could be a boat. It's like tickets to a comedy club. It's just keep your guys like just chill. But it's interesting to think about because if it's Julius Randle and you give up your 2 picks and you get the number 2 pick, then
but they're not doing that.
Then that's something to think about. Yeah. But I don't want to trade. I don't want to make those trades. But they're not going to do that because Randall's paid and they have no room for Randall. And then you'd have to take back a player. And then who are you taking back? Or what's that guy's the rookie they had this year that was pretty good? That was. He had like a lot of volume shots this year because
off the top of my head I don't know, to be honest.
Pascal, that was the guy. Okay. He was good. He's another guy that I can have off the bench that's like came out of nowhere this year. Well, he's a rookie, so whatever. The Warriors are going to win the next 3 championships, and we just don't know it yet. It's going to happen. It is.
Yeah, and Nets Warriors finals will be funny.
That would be funny. That's what the NBA wants next year. You know that it's Nets Warriors or. Bucks and Lakers again, or something like that, or Clippers Raptors would be fun too.
That could happen this year.
It sucks we got robbed, and it sucks we got robbed about the OKC Rockets playoff in the home crowd. That sucks. I know it's not the same when it's the virtual fans with Chris Paul and Westbrook going back to OKC.
That would have been cool, man.
Yeah,
I've already just forgotten about all that stuff. I'm not like now it's reminding me when we're doing this, but I haven't even thought about it because it's just been so long of.
Right. What's funny is that going back to everybody forgets the Knicks 3 straight playoff years this decade. Chris Paul was being interviewed by Chris Haynes on NBA TV or wherever it was. I posted it online. I don't know if you saw it. And he was like, Melo's playing LeBron. It's the first time anybody in the Banana Boats played each other in the playoffs. And it's just incredible. It's going to be fun. And meanwhile, 3 of the guys in the Banana Boat were in that series, LeBron, Wade, and Melo. And it's just, how do you not remember these things? It's just, how are you on NBA TV and you don't know? There's a reputable reporter. Like Haynes he's a great reporter, but how do you not know these things?
People are human.
I guess.
And it was a bad oversight.
People are beaten down with the Knicks have been terrible for 20 years that they believe it, that they haven't had a winning season in 20 years. They haven't made the playoffs in 20 years. They haven't nothing in 20 years. It's been
Trust me, I remember the winning ones. I remember the winning ones. You don't have to tell me. I know where they were. I remember.
You love that when Amari broke his hand on the fire extinguisher.
That was terrible. I'm not a boy. That was bad. I mean, I don't like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's like
I don't know. I love that.
Lose the right way.
Lose the right way.
Lose the right way.
I like the thing about Denny also, the Israeli guy, is that Amari is on his team on the Maccabi Tel Aviv team. So Amari is already mentoring him, I'm sure. And Amari is, he used to be a star, so he knows that, and he was on the Knicks, and that would be like a good transition mentor kind of a thing.
Is it Amari now bathing in wine? Doesn't he do that? Did I make that up?
No, you did not make that up. That's the real thing.
That's a lot of wine, right?
Yeah, it is. Well, listen, I mean, this guy got $100-something million.
Still, that's a. I guess do you use box wine for that? You'd have to use box wine, right?
I mean, listen, he's a millionaire. He probably uses like the top of the line wine. I mean, I'm not a wine guy, so I can't name wine.
Do you drink the wine you bathe in? Right?
Imagine. Can you imagine though? That would be a good prank for somebody. Like, hey, you want some wine?
It's white wine too. You couldn't do red because you would.
No, it's red wine. He does it in red wine. then your skin is probably stained. But I don't understand how that works. But
you ever have
even
like
your
red
nails-
wine and your teeth look like all red because you didn't brush well?
How are you, I mean, you got to take a shower, obviously, like a regular shower. But I don't understand how that works. There's got to be a lot more to it than we were put onto it. But
Interesting.
whatever.
I don't know. If I ever get to that kind of wealth, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, in San Diego.
In San Diego.
When we were down there. Yeah,
jacked up with the T-Mobile guy.
Right, with the T-Mobile guy. And Fernando Tatis is in the Hall of Fame.
Tatis,
Yeah.
All right. Any more, or was that all of them?
That was all of them.
That was all of them.
That was it.
All right, cool.
What do you think?
Well,
What do you think? Real quick, what do you think with the Knicks? What do you think that they're going to do with the pick? Do you know? Have you looked at any mocks? Do you have any?
I don't know who it is. I think they're just going to draft whoever they think's the best player. I'm not going to go here and I'm not studying the Knick mocks. Like what? Like,
yeah.
We'll get more details into that. I don't know. I don't know who
it's smart. It's smart to do the BPA
They'll pick
thing.
somebody.
Yeah. They'll pick somebody.
No, I don't think they're going to trade the pick with the Warriors or
I got
they're going to package the deal and they're going to get that guard from Wichita and that's on the Raptors. I think they're just going to take the pick and that's going to be the end of it.
All right.
So.
Well, yeah.
What about you?
I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm nervous that they're going to do something crazy, and they're I just don't know what they're going to do. I think best player available is the way to go. I really would prefer a point guard because it's time for us to hit on one of these point guards because it's always like, excuse me, like we drafted Ntilikina as a point guard, but he's not a true point guard. We need like a real point guard that can handle the ball and can run the offense, and he's going to be our guy. But I just need BPA because I always go back to the Warriors example that they had Monta Ellis and they still took Steph Curry. And then everybody's like, you're crazy. The Warriors fans booed when they did it. And when they traded Monta, they booed Chris Mullin off the court. Remember that? It was like a whole thing. Or whoever the GM was and Chris Mullin yelled at the crowd. It was like a whole thing. And now they look back at that and they're like, well, thanks, guys. Thanks for doing that. It was just so you got to take best player available. Even if it doesn't fit, you worry about fit later is really what it comes down to. But I do prefer a point guard.
Unless you're the Warriors, then fit's a little different.
Right. Fit's different.
But they're in there's just such a, you don't get, this is like the Spurs again with Tim Duncan when they got him. There's no Tim Duncan in the draft, I guess, but they're just to have all the circumstances happen where you have this kind of roster that gets that bad, that's going to be that good again. Mm-hmm. They're definitely going to be a wild card in the NBA next year because we've kind of all forgotten about the Warriors quickly. Lakers, Clippers.
No, you're right. And that's what I was saying. Sorry to cut you off.
You say they imagine if what?
If they took like somebody like Toppin, who's just like this athletic freak, if they had like Zion last year and they won the lottery and they got Zion, and that would be like insane, But I mean, what are you gonna do?
I know. Can you imagine the trade they could have gotten for Zion? It would have been fun.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Oh well.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? There's been Bad Weather Fans episode number 24. Hey, subscribe to the YouTube page. At what is it, Alex? Bad Weather Fans. On
Bad Weather Fans
YouTube
podcast. Yep.
Yeah.
YouTube.
So you can watch the video there, of course. The podcast version. Give a 5-star rating. Leave a comment. We appreciate that. Check out all of the other great content on theprosclub.com. Bad Weather Fans. This one you're listening to, Outside the Box, Mike Delivers, and Real Talk Basketball on there. That's with former assistant NBA coach, former college coach, and he has a podcast on there. I think some of the Knicks fans that listen to this will be interested in. Rex sits down with David, Coach Fizdale, and that comes out. What's that?
Our favorite coach. No,
and
but
that comes out on
interesting
Wednesday.
Interesting listen. I'm looking forward to hearing that.
I think just as a sports fan, a lot, just a lot of his journey and a lot of interesting information with stuff with LeBron and the Heat kind of goes behind the scenes too. So I think it's kind of cool. And I think just from a basketball fan standpoint, you'll like it.
Yeah, no, Fizdale has an interesting basketball life, that's for sure. And I didn't like him as a head coach, but he'll definitely be an interesting interview with Rex, and I'm looking forward to listening to that and watching that.
Good stuff. This has been Bad Weather Fans episode 24. Alex,
Mike, take care.
Thanks as always, bud.
See ya.